Operation Status Quo. Operation Status Quo. Prepare to engage. Operation Status Quo. Ready to engage. Operation Status Quo. Engaged. Engaged. Hello. I gotta hit the button, otherwise my face won't pop up. Which, of course, probably could be good for you guys out there. If we can maybe do that once in a while. Maybe I should do a show without my face, and I'll get more viewers. More engagement. Maybe that's what's turning off the audience, right? No, seriously. Well, no, maybe not seriously. But anyway, how we doing, ladies and gentlemen? And welcome to Operation Status Quo here on a beautiful Monday. It's a Monday again as we start the cycle over and over again as it goes, and our crazy, wacky world spinning in circles. Unless, of course, you're more on the thought of the flat earth side, then we're just kind of laying there doing nothing. So either we're spinning in circles, losing our minds, or we're just laying around doing nothing. It's one or the other. Either way, you see what's going on out there, and it's a mess. A total mess. Hey-o. So, hey, I'm Pete Palma, and this is Operation Status Quo. Thanks for taking the time to be with me here today. Of course, this is the place where we observe the status quo of life. We learn to flow with the status quo of life. And then, of course, we create our own flow of quo, because that's the only way to go. So and that's what we do here, and this is a place of togetherness and oneness. And, of course, I'm a little bit, for those who know me well and have been following the show for a long time, I always come on and want to always say how much this is a place of love and togetherness and all. And it is. I mean, like, I really do care about everybody. And, I come on because I just want to create a little space where you can come hang out for a little bit and enjoy some conversation. And, of course, you're absolutely more than welcome to participate as well. You can drop comments in the chat and all that type of thing. And I'll be happy to respond to you while I'm here. And I'll be happy to respond to you even later if you drop comments in the chat or comment in general once this video is on its own and I am no longer actually live on it. But I do say all that, but it's also a place just like, have some fun. I'm realizing that myself, I come on a lot, and I, not that I think I talk overly heavy or anything like, and you guys gotta it's just like, I'm just kind of a man of the people. Like I always say, I'm a man of the people. I'm just a normal guy, just observing the world that's going on out there and just giving my insights into it, and more than open for you to share your insights as well. And at the very least, I hope that this is a place where that you can see someone like myself making such a total ass of himself that'll make you feel better about yourself. I know. It's not really that funny, though. I mean, it is like my life here we're talking about, for God's sakes, people. So if somebody could just help me out a little bit. There's a lot of noise right now. I don't know if you can hear it, but just a lot of craziness going on in the background, and sometimes my brain just gets that way. Hey-o. But seriously, I love you guys out there, and I hope you're having a great. I hope you had a great weekend, and you're off to a great start this week. So today is the. I said all I wanted to say about this being a place of love and all that, and so don't get upset. If I make some jokes, and it's my personality too. I gotta have a personality too. We all have a personality. It's to be mindful. It's important to recognize our weaknesses and strengths, keep our personality in check at times when need be. But at the same time, we are all beautiful individuals like snowflakes, as it were, and we should just all embrace that and be that and all that type of thing. So, of course, you're welcome here anytime with anything you'd like to share. But in the meantime, I'm here and I will share. And today is the 12th of June in the good year 2023. And today's program is titled The Fear of If. Dun, 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 dun. The fear of if. Because truthfully, I got some information. That's why I'm bringing my phone over here. Basically the fear of if. Because, I was thinking about this. I'm thinking about this even from my own perspective, quite honestly, because that's the best way to do these things. I really can't speak from your perspective, so I'm going to go ahead and speak from my perspective. So it's been a year and 7 months now, basically, that I left the comfy confines of what I thought was my normal day-to-day life up there in the Northeast Corridor and took myself down here to Florida. And it's really just amazing how much transformation has happened in that time. It's, first of all, the world itself, right? I mean, I think the transformation is inevitable no matter where you are, but of course I threw a little extra caution to the wind and kind of gave up all the stability of what I had and decided to try to start fresh down here. here. I've gone through, a couple jobs. I've moved multiple times in this year and a half. But anyway, long story short, that's kind of what brought me to this idea of the fear of if, because even as things are continuously progressing for me, and I'm trying to still, find a new level of stabilization. That's the one thing I think I've realized the most since everything has happened with COVID and everything is, that little, space of stability that, we all thought we had. Like for example, my perspective, again, I was working the job that I was working. I had my little condo. I had my little routine. I went out with a couple friends on a Friday night and, all this type of thing. And everything kind of got flipped, upside down with all that, obviously, as, what went on with COVID through 2020 and, parts of 2021 and, coming out of that, a lot of relationships changed. I found even myself with a lot of the friends I had that I used to go out with, that people that I thought I was close with. It's really amazing how COVID really kind of created that. I don't want to use the word divide, but I mean, in a sense, but just you really realized how different, people are, and it was easier before because, everyone was just kind of being flushed down the same toilet of crap the way life was, and now you have a kind of like more of an opportunity. Do you want to continue to just keep being flushed into the cesspool of nonsense of the mainstream, or, do you want to kind of swim your way to the top and find some fresh waters, and that was my perspective. That's why I decided to move and do what I did, and all that type of thing. But anyway, I know I was saying about perspectives and different people and how relationships changed and stuff. And it's one of the things, that's what I was going to say. I'm trying to be better at remembering my thoughts as I go off on tangents. But there's people that I've spoken to before, like mediums, and kind of said, I forget this one. Matter of fact, Colleen St. Michael's, she was on this program back on, you can look it up here in the archives, back on April 6th. Colleen was a guest here, and she's like a medium, talks to the angels and that type of stuff. And I had a conversation with her one time, and it was coming out of a relationship, and I remember she was telling me, it's like, even though you look the same on the outside as far as, this humanoid form, people are, really different species underneath, and I'm not going to go down the whole road of aliens and our origins, and, but there is a lot of truth to that, whether it be that line of thought, aliens and actual DNA and genetics, or just the idea of just people are different people, if you want to just keep it as simple as that. So many of us, we do look the same on the outside, right? I mean, we all look like humans. You see fellow people walking down the street every day, but deep down, you don't know how their programming is and their background and everything else. And it turns into, you realize that you're not, like, even though you think it's almost like, having a lion, trying to marry an elephant or something like that. It's like they're two totally different species. So it's a little harder with the human aspect because we all look human, but you don't know what you're really dealing with. You might be a lion and someone else might be an alligator and someone else might be, a parakeet. I really don't know. Tweet. Tweet, tweet. Heyo. We gotta have fun, right? What are we doing here if we're not having fun? All right, so let's get into it a little bit, because, I don't want to be long and drawn out like I always am. I can't help myself. I always say long story short, but I really should say long story even longer, because it seems to be the tendency of how I go with that type of stuff. So, again, the fear of if, ladies and gentlemen, and I have a couple lists here just briefly to... And basically, the thing about the fear of if is, and that's what I was getting to even with me moving and everything, and even my current situation now as I'm still kind of, fluctuating and transitioning in different ways. Not the Bud Light way, but, I am transitioning in certain ways. And, and I realize that myself. I sit here and say, oh, well, I'm going to take another chance. And I'm ready to make another step on something, and so I'm going to take another chance. I'm going to try this next, But then, you kind of sit with yourself sometimes. You're like, well, what if this? But what if that? And, and it kind of leads into this whole, mind chatter program that starts running in your brain that, really keeps you separated, I would say, from the initial. I mean, you think about when you feel something in your heart that feels really good and you feel connected, like, yes, I want to really take a chance and I want to do this, and then, a couple days go by and you're like, oh, geez, I don't know if I should do this because that might really be a problem. Maybe I should just leave well enough alone and just keep doing what I'm doing because this might happen and that might happen. And then you get all the self-doubt. And when the self-doubt happens, that makes it even worse, obviously. So, it's like, you question. So that's what I'm trying to say with the fear of if. You start questioning, what if, and then that leads to self-doubt. And then self-doubt makes you say, oh, I better not. And then you kind of just keep yourself, stagnant and not, the point of this life is growth, right? The point of this life is to grow and learn. It's hard because I'll say this, I'm again speaking from my perspective because it's the only one I really can speak from. But truthfully, it really is hard to give it over to the universe. And, you might have foundational beliefs like myself. I have foundational beliefs that this life is the dream. And, I chose this incarnation before I came into this life, chose my, my soul group, we're all one and, we're here for certain lessons. And yet when you're here, in this life, you're scared sometimes, right? You're thinking of what could go wrong and what happens if I run out of money or what happens if I, my spouse leaves me or, what do I do? What if I'm alone? What if this? What if that? And we forget sometimes that, it's almost like it's all taken care of already and we should be tuning in to the inside and flowing with that. So to, avoid all the questions and just kind of work in conjunction with, your purpose. Each of our, purposes or purpose I guess we purpose I for the plural. So let's just look at a couple things here. Some of the dangers we have a few unexpected dangers of self-doubt. So what does self-doubt, kind of do? And you might not even realize that you have self-doubt in certain ways. I mean, I'm speaking myself. I have to remind myself all the time because I'll start questioning things and say, oh, wait a minute, is this am I really, is it a valid concern, in my decision to make, how I'm going to move forward or progress in my life or what I'm going to try to accomplish next? Or, is it just self-doubt that's, dragging me down and keeping me from growth out of fear? So self-doubt will weaken your self-will. And of course, self-will is still one of the strongest gifts we inherited from God. Being able to determine that we want or do not want something and being able to go ahead with our decision is not an ability all creatures enjoy. Where self-doubt becomes really dangerous to your self-will is when it makes you seek encouragement or an excuse for why you can't still move forward or why you're not able to accomplish a goal. So you start having that self-doubt, it weakens your self-will. And I'll say that too about the one thing that it just said in here about questioning. What did it say? Seeking encouragement, right? I mean, think about how many times you might want to do something. Just say you want to leave a job or something like that. And, it might be some great job, 6-figure job, maybe your millionaire job. Who the frig knows, right? But whatever you got. And, you might say to yourself, oh, I don't resonate with this and I want to move on and blah, blah, blah. And you start asking other people, well, do you think this is a good idea? You think that's a good idea? And then you got other people like, what did I just say 6 times already? I'm speaking from my perspective. You start getting other people's perspectives involved, and it's really easy to start getting your brain confused and muddled as to what you actually want to do. So, you got to stop seeking from the outside and seek from within. Self-doubt breeds procrastination, right? So if you're doubting, your intent, if you're doubting your next steps or, makes you not sure on how to proceed in certain ways, you're going to procrastinate, right? Because you don't have a clear goal or, you're not feeling that vibe and just in tune with the steps you have to take to accomplish what you want to accomplish. So, you're sitting there kind of doubting things. So you're kind of going to procrastinate because you're like, I'm not sure. All right. Let's see here. It also opens you up to regrets and self-pity. When you fail at something, it's natural to feel emotional about it. The emotional feelings often associated with failure include fear, disappointment, regret, pain, and anger. However, many have mastered how to turn these emotions into their strengths, and it helps them to move forward. So self-pity and regret will do the opposite, right? So if you're sitting there and you're, regretting, even if you make a mistake, right? Like I'm saying for myself again, what I've done over this past year and a half. Basically, do I have regrets? I mean, I guess. No, I mean, I don't have regrets, honestly. I really don't. I have no regrets, and there's no self-pity. There's plenty of times, and even last year was a little bit worse. I went through another situation that kind of brought me down a little bit for a while, and I was a little bit isolated and such. And anyway, long story short there, and long story even longer, as I really need to say, is that even when that was going on, I never really felt regret, like, oh, I never should have moved. I messed up my life. And I still don't think that. And I'm still not settled really where I want to be. I have ideas. I'm trying to move towards things. I'm not sure how it's going to play out, but I have no regrets in anything I'm doing. And ultimately, if the time goes on and I fail at everything, I'll still look at it as a win because, I may have quote unquote failed, which it's not a failure because I tried. And, as long as you're working and trying, there's nothing to regret. And there's no self-pity. You should never really have self-pity, no matter what happens to you, because, what's happening to you, quote unquote, to you is really a reflection of within, and it's the universe trying to give you lessons to improve yourself. So when something happens, do not have self-pity, ladies and gentlemen, and do not have regret. Just, unless you did something like really horrible, you feel really bad, like you left your kids unattended in the pool and, unfortunately they didn't make it. You might have a little regret about that because you should have been more responsible. But, aside from that, I would say, if you're trying to do the best you can for your life and seek more inner truth and grow and learn, then I would definitely say let go of the self-doubt and let go of the regrets. Self-doubt also kills personal growth. I think that kind of speaks for itself. Obviously, you're not going to move forward and continue to grow. If you're always doubting yourself, it's always like, think about doubt, right? Think about doubt and worry and doubt and worry. And it just keeps bringing you down. And you just keep going down like this. See what I'm saying? You keep going down. But when you believe in yourself and you feel good, you blossom like a flower on a beautiful day in the sunshine. It's the sunshine. Are we having fun? Can we have fun? All right, thank you for the AO. So, and the last thing here on this particular list about some of the dangers of self-doubt, it also would hinder your creativity. So, again, anything that's keeping you, locked up and bottled up and all that type of thing is basically going to limit your ability to be your best self. So, and you want to be creative. I mean, your creativity is the spark of life. It's our inner child. It's the innocence, the purity, just beautiful ideas. And then, we block ourselves up with crap because of our everyday world. Okay, that's good. So that was some of the stuff there on self-doubt. And I have something else here for you guys because I love you guys. I got two little things today. I also have some tips to overcome self-doubt. So let's see here what they say about overcoming self-doubt. So listen, first and foremost, we all have self-doubt. I'm not saying, it's going to be eliminated. It's like anything else in our lives, creating space to recognize our emotions, our feelings, creating space to see, what we really want, creating space not to attach to the things that, seem like they're overwhelming or to things that are quote unquote seen in the outside world that are, boxing us in or making us feel scared. You're going to have the self-doubt, but it's at times, but it's about recognizing when you do, and then working towards getting past it and making the decisions that are best for you. And again, sometimes you might want to make a decision. We're impulsive sometimes. It depends on what's going on, right? I would never say just go for whatever. Just if you say blah blah blah, just throw it all to the wind and go. I mean, make responsible, intelligent as best you can. I mean, obviously, I have a hard time making intelligent decisions because of the fact that, my level of intelligence it only goes so far. So, it's my own limitation, but what can I do? But, you make informed decisions and, step by step, you believe in yourself and you move towards your goals. So some of the ways of, what did I say this was, of overcoming self-doubt? Yes, practice self-compassion first and foremost, right? We're going to have our our days where we're a little bit off and not everything's the best. So you have to remember to be compassionate with yourself and know, I mean, I've had plenty of days where I'm just in one of those moods and I just feel like, I always use like the word crooked. Like, I feel like crooked inside, like, it's my chakras are off, or, the energy's not aligned or something like that. And it's just kind of like weighs you down through the day. And as much as you want to, sometimes just let it go, and to let it go, and you know that, it's a reflection of something within, you try to observe it and all that type of thing, but sometimes it's hard. It might take a day, might take a couple days. It really depends on what's going on. But have compassion for yourself while that's happening, and just be aware that you're just going through a moment. And, like all other moments, they pass, right? Just like a kidney stone, eventually it might be a little painful, but eventually it'll pass. All right. Remember your past achievements. So that's a great one too, right? We've all have accomplishments. We've talked about how it is and fearing failure and such, but we've all had accomplishments. It could be something, I don't know, whatever. I was going to make some jokes, but seriously, we've all have accomplishments in our life. Maybe you were someone that was scared to death of water and then you learned to swim, or, or whatever. You never went to school, you worked your whole life, right? And they decided to go back, get your degree, or maybe just your GED, whatever the case may be. But, you've accomplished something in your life. I'm sure you're out there, you've accomplished something. So just always remind yourself of your past achievements when you're feeling down, and say, no, you know what, I've overcome when this happened and that happened, and I've moved forward and I've grown, and I'm not going to let myself live in that little level of thought that's going to keep me from continuing to grow. Try not to compare yourself with others. I mean, this is said hundreds and hundreds, thousands of times. It's like rule number one. You should never compare yourself to anyone else, because we're all individuals. We all have our own path, our own journey. So, I think it's good in certain regards to maybe have people that you can look up to and respect that are working within the realms of how you want to work. Like, if you want to be some sort of master plumber or something, maybe you go to like a plumber's club, and you meet up with other plumbers and you learn from them. So you don't have to compare yourself to them, but you can learn from them. So I think it's wise to immerse yourself within communities that resonate with the type of structures that you're looking for, whether it be family, work, education, whatever the case may be. But don't compare yourself to others. Don't go, look, Joe, man, he really knows how to put a 45-degree elbow on that copper. He knows how to weld that copper like nobody's business. Look at that guy, the way he handles a P-trap, for God's sake. This guy is something else. Hey-o. So don't compare. You'll figure out what to do with a P-trap.